Defund DOC is a movement and belief. Our mission is to stop oppression, exploitation, and bring about relief. Raise awareness, open eyes to the corruption in our midst. It's a higher way of thinking, but I'm sure you'll get the gist. Corrupt politicians and slimy administrators want to label us rebels and radical demonstrators. We are the ones who aren't scared, the voices that were never there, the ones willing to fight when no one else cared, the ones who stood up and finally said this isn't right, the only ones pushing back against the bureaucratic might. Support us if you can and listen for a few, because ultimately Defund DOC is for you.
Welcome to the Defund DOC podcast. In today's episode, Relationships Unlocked, we will be diving into a topic of being in a relationship with an inmate. I'm your host, Linda, and with me is my co-host, Daniel J. Sims.
Hello, everybody. It's Daniel Sims. I just wanted to tap in with everybody and say what's up and welcome to the show. A little about myself. I love knowledge. I found that love for knowledge in a dark place, though. Struggling through all the tribulations that I did in my book that some of you guys might know, I didn't have a deep urge for knowledge when I was a child, and that probably led me into getting into the wrong areas of life. But after coming to prison, I guess I was around the age of 19, I would be out in the big yard, and I'd be living in the adventure of prison. Instead of focusing on bettering myself, I was stuck in the grind of prison politics and being on the big yard. And it wasn't until they had this administrative policy come out that said anybody that didn't have a GED had to go get their GED. And so I had to go and get my GED, and I hated it. I hated the fact that they were forcing me to go get this education. And what would I need education for? I was just such an ignorant, backward person that I didn't understand how knowledge affects us all and how important it is for our well-being and just maturity and just advancing in life, how integral knowledge is and education. Anyway, I was forced to go get this GED. I go and get this GED, and for months, I actually put in the work to get it so that I could get, out and start working out again. And so I spent all this time to do it, and by the time that I was done and I had completed it and took my test and got my GED, a new light had opened up in my heart and in my mind, and that was a love for knowledge and love for education. And I've come to realize how important it is for us and important it is for inmates, and particularly prisoners, to turn their lives around. And that was why one of the main pillars of our Reformation movement in social justice is for turning these places into career centers, into treatment centers, because the knowledge that you gain is what keeps people from committing new crime. And so, I just wanted everybody to know where I come from in regards to my journey. I didn't have, real big education, but developed it through tenacity and happenstance. So it's also why I believe in mandating education, because I wouldn't have got it by myself until they regulated it, and then all of a sudden I had to go get this GED. That was a crucial, pivotal moment in my life, and I believe the same should be for every single prison across the country. Everybody should be mandated to get a bachelor's degree, a doctorate degree, a master's degree. There's not going to be a computer scientist with a doctorate degree selling drugs on the corner or gangbanging in downtown Seattle. So let's just use common sense. Anyway, we are on the topic Relationships Unlocked, and so I will hand it back over to my co-host.
Being in a relationship with an inmate can be a challenging and unique experience. It requires open-mindedness, understanding, and a willingness to navigate through various difficulties. However, it's important to note that despite these challenges, there are also several benefits that can arise from such a relationship. Today, we will be exploring both benefits and difficulties of being in a relationship with an inmate and shed light on this often misunderstood topic. Let's start by discussing the benefits. The first benefit in a relationship with an inmate is the deep emotional connection that can be formed. For someone who values deep and meaningful conversation, being in a relationship with an inmate can provide an opportunity for profound emotional bonding that goes beyond physical touch.
I agree, Linda. The thing is that when you're in this situation, you are going back to a primal state in regards to getting to meet somebody and talking to them and getting to know them on a personal level. It's like how the ancients did it 100 years ago, 200 years ago. People would would date for a year, 2 years, 3 years, getting to know each other on a real deep, deep level before embarking on the adventure of marriage or whatnot. Yeah, I agree with you, Linda. You're bonding on such an emotional level that visceral bond and passion that develops naturally is not surprising. I mean, it's just something that is stunning to many people that actually had never experienced love with a prisoner before, and then they embark on that journey, and then next thing you know, they're like, wow, this is the most profound relationship I've ever had, because I actually have to be vulnerable. I have to divest myself of my walls and actually open up and meet this person on a mental level.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Loyalty and trust are also significant benefits that can be experienced in a relationship with an inmate. As someone who values trust and loyalty in relationships, you'll appreciate the strong foundation that can be built when both individuals have to rely on these qualities to sustain their connection.
Absolutely, Linda. Just on a basic level, let's just start and let's just be plain about it. Where is an inmate going? He's not going nowhere. He's not cheating on you. He's not going out and hanging out with his boys at night. He's not doing nothing. All he's doing is focusing on whether that's personal development, whether that's you as a relationship. I think that trust and loyalty is a huge thing that's inherent in this context. You will come to find that a lot of stigmas have been projected about inmates, but there is a real profound trust and bond that comes out of this environment.
Thank you for your insight on that, Daniel. Another benefit is the potential for personal growth. You, as someone who is always seeking personal growth and self-awareness, can find this type of relationship as an opportunity to develop empathy, understanding, and a broader perspective on life. Navigating the challenges of this relationship can push you to grow and learn in ways you may not have anticipated.
Yes, that's correct. That is a really good point. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I just think that, when you're in a relationship, like the interest of one party becomes the interest of the other party, and 9 times out of 10, those are positive things, and you can grow as a couple together that most couples don't actually get to grow. I mean, they're working 9 to 5. They're, struggling to pay rent, get groceries, put the kids to sleep. They're not actually bonding on some kind of level that you would be in regards to a relationship with somebody in prison. Because when you're with somebody in prison, you are going to be developing mental pursuits like starting a business, writing books together, or emailing each other all the time, and talking to each other on the phone, and writing letters. Like, these are intellectual pursuits that you're going to end up getting into and finding yourself actually enjoying. So yeah, I think that you grow an empathy and a love that is really sincere and genuine.
That kind of goes in with the next one. Being a source of emotional support for an inmate can be incredibly meaningful for someone like you who values compassion and helping others. By offering support, you can make a positive impact on their well-being and provide them with a sense of hope and connection to the outside world.
That is actually really good to bring up when you think about the many people in here struggling, and struggling not from things that they've done themselves. A lot of these guys grown up in troubled households, grew up on the streets, grew up abused, so they're not used to having somebody that actually cares for them, that loves them, and that will share their future and their lives with each other. And finding somebody special in such a dark place as prison, it really opens up the human spirit for something special, something profound. And yeah, it's a real stunning revelation when you actually get to meet somebody and develop that bond with them that has not been explored in such a deep, impactful way than with somebody that you meet while you're in prison. So yeah, thank you. That was a good one.
All right. Next one is being in a relationship with an inmate can also make you appreciate your freedom and the simple joys of life more deeply. Your appreciation for the small things in life can be further amplified by witnessing the limitations and restrictions faced by your incarcerated partner.
Yeah, that's true. I can't express enough how many times I've just talked about the little things that matter in life. You come to find, like, even just feeling the breeze of the air in the morning or hearing a bird chirp. Like, when you're surrounded by concrete and thousands of guys and guards that don't care one iota about you, you come to find how precious it is to have somebody, on the other end of the phone that will take every call, that will cherish you, that will love you, and spend their life with you when you have been surrounded by such darkness and concrete and steel and bars and razor wire. It says something to your human spirit. And so, yeah, it's a good one.
Absolutely. Another benefit worth mentioning is the potential for personal transformation. As someone who believes in the power of growth and change, being in a relationship with a reformed individual can be transformative and inspiring. Witnessing their journey and growth can give you hope and serve as a reminder that change is possible.
Yeah, that's profound too. One of the things that I actually am really big on is advocating for people in prison. People like to stigmatize and throw out these prejudicial words like career criminal and dirt bags, and like these are just straight bigoted words. You don't get to know the person on an individual level and make a genuine assessment when you're using words like that. And a lot of the people in here that I know, because I've been in prison 20 years, I'm talking about people that have been incarcerated for a long period of time. 9 times out of 10, they are reformed individuals. These are people that spend their days focused on growing, reading books, keeping connections with their families and friends. Personally, I'm on a level of reform that I couldn't even imagine 15, 20 years ago. I don't even smoke marijuana no more. I don't drink no more. These are things that were socially acceptable even out there and even out on the street and currently today. And, so like these are things that I could do if I wanted to, but I don't. I choose not to because I feel like I'm a better human without them. So yeah, you're right. That journey. And it goes for both people. It's not just me. It goes for your significant other. They are going to have to come to the table and grow too. This is a really hard journey, so they have to be patient. So, yeah, thank you, Linda.
That's it for the first half of defunddoc.net's podcast, Relationships Unlocked. Thank you for joining us, and remember, stay informed, stay engaged. Until next time.